way. It's an hour drive. Yeah. Oh god. Hi guys.
Howdy.
Maybe we do it outside. There's a huge echo in there.
Oh, okay.
So you guys got a spot that
You'll come with us.
everybody? You guys want to set up? Yes, no?
I don't
We can go in here, but it's going to be echoey and actually probably warmer than standing outside. So it's up to you guys.
You said warmer than standing outside.
It's stuffy.
It's very warm. It's like 77.
Yeah. So I don't know if you guys want to do a backdrop. You can put me in the sun if you want, or I don't care. Whatever you want to do.
Pick.
I'll let
Down
the
this
experts
way is fine and face this way.
down this little
Or
hall.
just stand right there where,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. Give me just a sec. Let me make a quick call and then we'll be
Sounds
on.
good.
Thank
Thank
you. Thank you.
Are you guys gonna do sticks or logs?
I'm gonna do log.
We can do lots of that.
Yeah, we can.
Are you organizing this, dude?
Do we want to put the reporters in the middle so that we're not all crowded?
Sure.
This one here, middle.
Oh, okay.
Mine's over a little bit.
It's always a Saturday.
One man. I know. Sign me up. I'll screenwrite. Sign me a contract. Screenwriters will call me up. You're sad, man. I know. Look at that. Look at you. Friend, how are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Doing all right.
Yeah.
For
Oh,
the day
for
that it's been. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, because
What were you guys doing?
I'm floating her like because she had she's swim shifting and I go on my show so I was just floating and then this happened.
No, I do. That's why I do. If I had, or passing the lights.
Huh?
You go right out. And then passing the lights.
That one right there is mine.
So if I
The one right next to you. Are we trying to balance?
Yeah, I said white card.
Oh, card.
If you balance on concrete, it's 18%, right?
Yeah, so it's not bad.
And it's better than the white.
My shoes are kind of dirty, but at one time they
Yeah.
were white. You can try using
Actually, the
those.
dirt might be better. The dirt might help.
I could seriously stand there with you.
Just hike it. Hold it. Just do Karate Kid.
Yeah.
Do Karate Kid. Full split. Vertical. It's a little wow. That's cool. That's handy. Oh, that's your
They're my
earbuds.
earphones.
Oh, nice.
Paul, did you see my shot?
That's the crazy thing about
Yeah. Oh,
Audio
sure.
wise.
No worries.
just
If you
FYI.
need to pause and take a cough,
Okay.
Thank you,
you know
Paul.
the drill. Okay. Good. Thanks.
Yeah, just the last couple of days have been gnarly. You know, my pocket's full of
Put it under
Yeah, go ahead.
tie.
Under his cut?
So the
He goes go over there.
Like,
Just
the other way around. The other.
That's
There
it?
you go. Yeah.
that?
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah, it's me. Yep. Gotcha. Namas, yeah, good evening. Yeah, sorry, we usually use our community room in there, but it's all set up for picnic day, so there's oh, that's just how it goes.
Now I gotta put this on your belt.
Yeah, go for it.
Is there food in there? Is that why you didn't want to let us in?
No, actually the food's somewhere else. No, it's just set up for our briefings internally and stuff, so there's tables everywhere, and it's not a great idea, so. Cool. You guys good where
If
I'm
I ask
standing?
a question, you can answer to the, like, you don't have to, otherwise you're gonna be kinda looking down.
Yeah, sure,
So,
sure.
yeah.
Okay.
All right.
And then I will be live.
You're gonna be live?
I think
Okay.
I think a lot of us are probably gonna be. Yeah.
Okay.
So just yeah.
I'm rolling when you guys are ready.
Yep. Whenever you're ready.
Is everybody ready?
Yeah, we'll
Okay.
do the name.
Cool.
So,
Yeah, Lieutenant Dan Beckwith, Davis Police Department, PIO.
great.
So earlier today at about 2:58 p.m., several officers were patrolling in the area of Community Park here in Davis. They heard what sounded like several gunshots from coming within the park. There had been a large gathering of people there prior to the shooting. So they responded to the park and located 3 victims of gunshot wounds. They were all treated on scene by medical personnel and transported to the hospital. As part of our normal planning process, there was already a large amount of officers in town from neighboring agencies as part of our picnic day process, as well as pretty much full staffing from our agency. A lot of those officers responded, including Davis Fire and AMR personnel to locate and treat those victims. Since then, we have since cleared the park. There's a large contingent of officers there on scene while investigators process the scene. Currently, this is a very preliminary investigation, so details are going to change as we learn and discover new things.
Is there any information you can give us on identities of the victims, such as male, female, age range?
Yeah. So right now we know that 2 of the victims are juvenile teenagers. One of a Davis resident and we believe a Sacramento resident. The other is a 24-year-old. I actually don't know the sex of the individual.
Are you able to say if the event at the park was related to picnic day?
It's unsure, but it's assumed. I mean, there's large gatherings all over the city. That's very common for today. It's just part of the culture of the event.
Suspect still on the loose?
Correct. The suspect still is outstanding, is yet to be identified.
No weapons recovered?
Not at this point, no.
Did that party have a permit? Was it affiliated with a student group?
So there was a permitted party there. That particular event, that group has had multiple events over past picnic days at Central Park, never with any violence or any issues related to that. I can't say for sure that the entire large group was related to that particular event.
Which group was that?
I don't have that information.
In the post on Facebook, you mentioned that there was one individual that had been trampled. Can you kind of talk about what the aftermath of the shooting was like?
So at this point, we're not sure if that information is accurate. That was initial information that we had received. Again, all very preliminary, so we're getting kind of a fire hose of information coming in from all the people in the park. At this point, we believe that is likely inaccurate. However, it was a large group, and our officers reported a lot of people running in different directions, as you would expect.
The area where the shooting actually happened, what did it look like? Because when we're out there right now, it obviously is all cleared out.
Yeah.
But we know before that there were, easy ups in some parts, people with their picnic blankets. Was that area one of the spots that did have the easy up? What did it look like?
I actually don't know the individual spots where the shootings occurred, if they were in one centralized location or if this occurred over a space. I don't have that information yet. It's too preliminary. Our investigators are still out there, so.
You mentioned staffing was up, but this park was not in the immediate vicinity of campus. were police staff to be able to handle that much of a large crowd kind of outside of the immediate picnic day area?
Yeah, so we had dozens of officers upstaffed for today. While I can't say that we're necessarily ever prepared, or any law enforcement agency is ever prepared to handle an event like that, we were as staffed as we could be for this particular day.
Did you call for mutual aid? Because I saw different agencies out there.
Good question. Yeah, we did. We did have a lot of officers in town already as part of our mutual aid plan just for picnic day. But we did ask for outside agency help from, I believe, the city of Sacramento, the city of West Sacramento, the city of Woodland, and I believe the Old County Sheriff.
What's your message to the community right now? I mean, Picnic Day, it's such an event that brings out so many people.
Yeah, this is really an uncommon event for us. This particular situation. In my 18 years, we've never had anything like this. We do our best to keep this community safe during this event. It's supposed to be a fun event for families, and I think it still is. This is the one-off. Our officers are there quickly. In fact, we had officers on scene when the incident occurred, and we were able to stabilize that scene relatively quickly given the scale. I believe this event is still very family-friendly and safe for folks to go out and have a good time.
That permitted party at the park, would that permit come through the police department?
It goes through a channel of departments through the city, but generally it comes to us for things like noise, street closures, things to that nature. So yes, that did touch our hands.
We spoke with someone whose kids were playing baseball across the street, and their question is, why was such an event allowed across from the Little League fields where there's a playground right nearby?
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm not sure the event itself, what it is, but we don't allow permits for or things that aren't perceived to be safe. I mean, this was an event for people to gather and celebrate Picnic Day. I don't know if the proximity to a Little League field would have changed the permitting process for that.
Can you speak to what the investigation will look like moving forward when there is such a large number of witnesses?
Yeah. So, I mean, first and foremost, we got to really get with our victims and our detectives to get their firsthand statement, and they're working on that right now. And then any information that we've gathered from individuals there at the park. Like I said, there was a large amount of officers on scene, a lot of eyes out there. We'll be requesting assistance from the public for people who may have been videotaping or pictures or may have saw something. We're doing a lengthy follow-up investigation to really get to the bottom of it.
What are the severity of the injuries for those 3 victims? And also, is there any information you can give the public about a suspect description?
Let's separate that into 2 questions there. At this point, we believe that the injuries are non-life-threatening. While I don't know the exact condition of the victims, that's the information that we have at this time. We're still waiting on updates, which we'll get, throughout the day and the night. And I'm sorry, what was the second question?
Suspect description at all? Anything you can tell the public?
At this point, no. It was, we called a fire hose of information. You have a whole lot of people out there who are scared and they're calling the police, and we're getting a lot of conflicting information that all came in at once. So again, this is very preliminary, and what our detectives and our officers are out there doing is really trying to find, a congruent indication of what actually happened and who was involved.
You mentioned the fire hose of information, but is there any indication at this point that this started with a brawl, or was there more than one shooter perhaps?
At this point, it's unknown. Again, it's so preliminary, and people are running in different directions. That's why we have to go back and really do a thorough investigation.
Does it make a difference that this happened within the safety enhancement zone that was established for Picnic Day?
The safety enhancement zone is really specifically targeting municipal code type things and infraction-based crimes that are like drinking, possession of alcohol, other nuisance type crimes really. So no, this doesn't have anything to do with this crime, unfortunately.
You mentioned that one piece of information that came out earlier was inactive. Could you repeat what that was?
Yeah, so initially we had received information that someone had been trampled during the initial shooting when people were running. At this point, we believe that information may be inaccurate. We have no reports of any victim anywhere who had been trampled.
Are you going to be monitoring, of course, hospitals to see if there are additional victims?
Yes, and that's something we did very early on, and we have been since.
We heard a report that potentially there were 2 groups of folks involved, that they were not shooting at each other, and one might have had an assault rifle. Is that something that you're looking into?
Again, we're looking into any bit of information that we get in. I haven't heard that specifically. It may have been reported, or maybe somebody said it. I'm not sure yet. Again, and it may have a lot of information coming in because you know, our officers are out there and they're trying their best to get information for people, and they're putting out what they're given. But a lot of that information is either inaccurate or it's conflicting, or maybe it is accurate. But that's again why our follow-up investigation is so important, to really weed out that info. Do you have any else?
We had heard from some witnesses that they didn't think there was a shooting, that they thought it was fireworks. Were there fireworks going off in that area?
So I did hear initially that someone had reported that it was fireworks. However, at the time that our officer was hearing these things and receiving that information, we were getting a phone call of someone who had been shot. So it was pretty clear to us that in fact what was a gun shooting. Anybody have anything else for us?
Do you know how long they're going to be out at the scene?
As long as it takes. I don't have a good time estimate right now, but they're going to be out there processing. It's a large area, so they've got a lot of work ahead of them.
Do you have any sense of when you'll be able to offer an update?
I apologize, I couldn't hear you.
Do you have a sense of when you may be able to offer an update?
Not at this time. Right now, we don't believe there's any active threat to the community. While we don't have a suspect in custody, it's likely they're no longer there. So at this point, this is where we try to slow down. When you hurry, you miss things. We want to do a very thorough investigation, uncover every stone, talk to every person that we can. So I couldn't really attest to when I'm going to have an update or when I'm going to have new information.
I'm sorry. On the, you probably might have already said this.
That's
but
okay.
on the victims, you said 2 of them were juveniles.
Correct.
Are they teens?
Yes,
Kids?
teenaged.
And you don't give out the, no,
No, not at this point, no.
Were any of them students at UC Davis?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you over the trucks.
Were any of the victims students at UC Davis?
I don't believe the teenage juveniles were, given the age. As far as the adult, the 24-year-old, I don't have that information yet.
And this was not an event related to the high school, correct?
I don't believe so, no.
Very good.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right, guys, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, of course. Oh, yeah, we got all this stuff. I'll just take it for next
Yeah.
time. It's all good.
Just so I can compare with the
Mhm.
permit, so you said there was, what we can say is there was a group that was there that had a permit to be there. Okay.